If you are planning to enter the live streaming industry, then you must pay attention. Perhaps the world you see with your naked eye is not the true picture. Things started to go wrong just 3 days ago. Originally, he was a private detective running an adult shop. On that day, I received a commission from a female high school student named Qingji Xia. Her brother, Qi Xia, mysteriously disappeared a week ago. It is suspected that he may have been murdered. I thought it was just a normal murder. A criminal case like hiding the body, and so on. But what's strange is that since her brother, Qi Xia, went missing, nobody remembers that such a person ever existed. Even the household registration investigation didn't have any information. He disappeared without a trace, as if he had evaporated from the face of the earth. According to Qingji Xia's description, her brother was invited to participate in an interview on a live streaming platform before he went missing. He never returned after that. In order to investigate the truth of the matter, I attended the interview that evening following the address provided by her on the business card. 3 people interviewed me. They were dressed in formal attire and had paper masks on their faces. At first glance, one wouldn't know that they were 3 people with paper masks on. It gives a very eerie feeling. The interview process was normal at the beginning. It wasn't until they started describing the live stream content that I felt something was wrong. One of the interviewers spoke in a mechanical, usually deep voice and told me, "Streamers at Underworld Show are different from streamers on other platforms. We not only need excellent communication skills but also need to protect ourselves. Surviving is what matters." Surviving. When I heard this sentence, I realized that things may not be as simple as I thought. The paper figure showed a strange and gloomy expression, telling me that there are countless supernatural rumors hidden in our city. The 13th step of the abandoned school. Take the last bus of the dead, Route 14, at midnight. The flickering heads in the early morning surveillance of the mental hospital. The little girl in red dress lingering at the entrance of the apartment. Don't you want to know these rumors? Are they all fabricated? I immediately understood the meaning of their words. They want me to go to these places with rumors investigating supernatural events. Live streaming the scenes and ghost stories. This is indeed a very novel thing in the live streaming world. I heard myself saying this sentence. The gazes of the 3 people hidden behind the masks were fixed on me. Ghost stories, right? It seems you still haven't figured it out. The truth is always more terrifying than stories. I guarantee you, the deepest sense of despair you will ever experience is from the moment you know the truth. I'm increasingly unable to understand the meaning of the masked man. My heart is starting to panic. This doesn't feel like a performance at all. The masked man told me in a gloomy tone. The answer is right here in this city. You will become a witness to another world. Go and witness true horror. At this moment, I was tempted to leave directly and escape from this eerie place. Just as I had the thought of running away. The door behind me creaked and closed slowly on its own. Don't be nervous. Your interview has just begun. Mr. Gao, here are a few questions for you. I hope you can answer them seriously. If your answers don't satisfy us, you may never be able to leave here. Just like the true owner of this card, Qi Xia. My heart suddenly raced. Indeed, Qingji Xia did not lie. Her brother did exist. And he was indeed murdered here. But why is there no information about her brother in the household registration records? Even her family has no memory of Qi Xia. There are too many doubts and no clues. Mr. Gao, please listen carefully to my question. You have only 30 seconds to think. The person speaking is the one wearing a mask on the left. When I was 13, I thought my sister's crying was very annoying, so I killed her. Then I threw the body into the well outside the house. The next day when I went to look, the body was gone. 5 years later, I killed my friend because of a dispute. Then threw the body into the well outside the house. The next day when I went to look, the body was gone. 10 years later, because of being drunk, I accidentally made a woman pregnant. I killed her. Then I threw the body into the well outside the house. The next day when I went to check, the body was gone. 15 years later, I couldn't stand the scolding from my boss, so I killed him. Then I threw the body into the well outside the house. The next day when I went to check, the body had disappeared. 20 years later, because I was tired of taking care of my mother who had limited mobility, I killed her. Then I threw the body into the well outside the house. The next day when I went to check, the body had not disappeared. Every day afterwards, I went to check. The body still had not disappeared. Mr. Gao, your first test question is to tell me why the mother's body did not disappear. 30 seconds of reflection time has passed. Please state your answer. At this point, I have to analyze it reluctantly, reasoning based on the limited clues in the story. Every time you kill and throw the body out the window, the body will inexplicably disappear the next day. At first glance, it seems to be related to issues with the well. However, after you killed your own mother, her body remained there all along. The only reasonable explanation would be that after you commit murder and dispose of the body each time, your mother helps you handle the bodies. After saying that, I glanced at the person. There was no emotional fluctuation under the paper mask. Now please listen to the second question. He did not tell me if the answer was correct or not. Continue to ask? I don't know if you have heard of slasher films. These are films that include a large amount of slaughter scenes. Some people say these movies are actually all murders. They film real murder events themselves. One day, my friend and I were drinking together. He said he had these kinds of bizarre videotapes in his hands. I consider myself brave and full of curiosity. I expressed my desire to watch them. So he invited me to a secluded cabin in the mountains. I arrived on time as agreed. But he was 30 minutes late. Sorry. My youngest suddenly had a fever. He absolutely refused to take the medicine. Children, you know. I understand. Let's get started then. My friend played the movie I had been looking forward to. The background was filled with poignant crying and trembling laughter. A masked person tortured a child of about 10 years old. The culprit died after 20 minutes. Because the plot was too brutal. I turned off the TV immediately when I saw half of it. And I angrily questioned my friend. You can actually stand to watch this kind of movie. You also have children. In the face of my indignation, Ming casually replied a sentence, right? There are two, right? But so what? Mr. Gao, your second test question is to guess whether I can walk out of the cabin alive. I'm here to help. How can I assist you today? 30 seconds of thinking time has passed. Please state your answer. Compared to the first question, this question is equally hysterical and filled with a sinister vibe. Watch the video together. It's not worth risking your life over this. Just keep thinking about it. I suddenly noticed a detail. In the text, the friend's last sentence said that he has 2 children. But his excuse for being late was that his youngest child had a fever. If the older 2 are there, where did the youngest one go? The friend was 30 minutes late. The child was tortured for 20 minutes before dying. Could the masked killer be the friend? My own speculation frightened me. It's really chilling to think about. Personally, I feel that the me in the story probably won't be able to walk out of the cabin alive. He is likely to become the friend's second victim in the murder film. After I answered, the atmosphere in the room became increasingly oppressive, giving me a sense of impending doom. Very well. Please listen to the third question. They are childhood sweethearts turned lovers. They thought they would be able to watch the sunset together hand in hand. But at the age of 35, the woman was diagnosed with lung cancer. She cried, laughed, and cried while holding the diagnosis report. The woman doesn't smoke, or have any other unhealthy habits. Why did she get lung cancer? She went to his office. But she saw in her boyfriend's drawer a bag of her favorite dried fruits, along with a medicine bottle. She cried when she read the instructions on the medicine bottle. 3 days later, she cried as she celebrated her boyfriend's birthday. But he was no longer around. She first lit 34 tall candles. Finally, she lit a short candle and whispered, "You've really lost weight." Can you tell us why she said he had lost weight? I seem to have seen this question somewhere before. After much contemplation and scrutiny, I came up with a wildly creative answer. The man in the text betrayed the woman. He smeared carcinogenic drugs on the dried fruits she loved to eat. The man wanted her dead. After finding out everything, the woman killed the man. She turned his body into oil and made it into candles. She didn't have enough for 35 candles. That's why she said he looked really skinny. Very well. Very imaginative. Please listen to question 4. Because of cheating. I pushed my girlfriend off the 6th floor and deceived the police by disguising it as her suicide. But maybe it's because of guilt. I always thought my girlfriend would come back to me. I am filled with fear all day long. Only until the 7th day after her death. I met a doist who told me that the vengeful ghost is returning. I have to think about survival. Tonight, I must hide under the bed and not let her find me. I followed the instructions. As soon as it passed midnight, the living room was filled with thumping sounds, like the sound of a basketball bouncing on the ground. Wait until the bedroom door is opened. Only then did I realize that I was doomed. Mr. Gao, do you know what I saw in the story that made me so desperate? Her girlfriend is already dead, isn't she? This question seems contradictory. The premise of the question is that the girlfriend is still alive. Unless the girlfriend has become a ghost. My brain is working quickly. Assuming your question is correct. In the story, the girlfriend fell from the 6th floor. She may have landed head first. So she crawled up using her head. This matches the thudding sound in the living room. The moment the bedroom door was opened, the person hiding under the bed was discovered by his head-down girlfriend. Therefore, he knew he was doomed. Very exciting. Now there is only one question left. Surprisingly, the 3 people at this moment spoke in unison. Their level of tacit understanding had reached a terrifying level. Mr. Gao's final question is, do you believe in ghosts in this world? I was originally an atheist. But in such a situation, I know that this statement is full of implications. The test began as soon as I entered. Everything seems to be about defying common sense. Setting the stage for this final question is to make me believe that there are ghosts in this world. I believe there are ghosts in the world. That's my answer. As soon as the words fell, there was silence. Applause broke out in the small room. On the other side of the tribute table, 3 interviewers sat motionless, clapping their hands. You answered 4 out of 5 questions correctly. Congratulations. Mr. Gao, you will officially be hired by Underworld Show as a contracted streamer under our company. You answered 4 out of 5 questions correctly. Can you tell me which question you got wrong? There was a mistake in your reasoning. This is crucial for a detective. Laughter sounded from beneath the paper mask. You don't need to know now. Because you will soon experience that kind of despair firsthand. You will understand where you went wrong on which question. Do you have any other questions, Mr. Gao? No more. Although he said he had nothing to say, my mind is now surrounded by countless doubts. Just speaking these questions out loud. The other party definitely won't answer. It might even bring disaster upon oneself. Okay. Let's prepare to sign the contract. Take out a yellowed, blackened scroll from under the tribute table. Grab my right hand and press it on top. The first time I made physical contact with the masked man, I found his body unexpectedly cold. It felt like touching a corpse frozen in a morgue. At that moment, a strange bug crawled out from under the floor. It resembled a centipede, but its forehead had a horn that was 1 to 2 centimeters long, resembling that of a dragon. It crawled up the leg of the tribute table at lightning speed and then climbed onto my arm. I instinctively wanted to dodge, but the masked man's arm was like a pair of iron tongs, firmly pressing me down. I watched in horror as the strange insect bit down on my wrist, its needle penetrating my bone. The intense pain made me cry out, but it only lasted for a few seconds. When I regained consciousness and looked again, there was a plum blossom-shaped black wound left on my right wrist. The blood stained the paper roll red. As for that strange bug, it lost its vitality, curled up into a ball, and died on the ground. The contract is signed. From today onwards, you are a member of the Underworld Show. The masked man released his hands. He moved the suitcase next to the chair. We will provide all your live broadcasting equipment. You just need to focus on the show. Attract more viewers. He opened the suitcase. Inside, all the tools needed for live broadcasting are readily available. Cameras, selfie sticks, tripods. Even a large-screen cell phone was included as a bonus. All these items are tainted with varying degrees of bloodstains. It seems that the live broadcast matter is not simple. And the live broadcasting task will be directly released to your phone by us. As for the way of live streaming, you can choose by yourself. However, after starting the broadcast, you must use the tools provided by us. Because only our devices can capture things that ordinary people cannot see. Every time the live broadcast ends, we will evaluate and award points to you based on the live data. Points can be exchanged for unexpected things. However, when the points are negative, you will just evaporate from this world without a trace. Just like Xia who brought you here. I can no longer pretend to be calm when I hear this. It's as if I unintentionally boarded a stolen ship. To make a person disappear without a sound. This should be a large organized crime group. Detailed information is written in the signed agreement. Take a look to see if there is anything you don't understand. I picked up the scroll soaked with my own blood. The gist of it is probably that one cannot actively disclose the existence of the underworld show to outsiders, cannot refuse tasks, and so on. It is worth noting that the first line reads, 1 point can be exchanged for 100 grams of pure gold. 5 points can be exchanged for Tai Kumanthong spirit. 7 points can be exchanged for Xiangxi corpse goo. 10 points can be exchanged for dirty earth Tai Sui. 12 points can be exchanged for the manuscript of the Jade Maiden's joyous deity technique. 15 points can unlock the mundane celestial eye. 20 points wash the tendons and break the bones. Densely packed with things I've never seen before. It leaves me speechless. It feels like something straight out of a novel. His gaze traveled down continuously. At the very bottom of the exchange chart, there was an option to extend life for 12 Shurchen of longevity with 1,000 points, or to choose to exit with 10,000 points and return everything back to square one. You've finished reading it, right? Keep the agreement well. Please get familiar with the live broadcasting tool as soon as possible. Your first live broadcast is estimated to take place tomorrow night. If you stop the broadcast once, 10 points will be deducted. Your current points are 0. Okay. I understand. Can I leave now? To be honest, I don't want to stay here for a moment longer. You can call me if you don't understand anything. You can contact me with the phone in the suitcase. The man waved gently. The tightly closed door slowly opened. Mr. Gao can see that you are a cautious and intelligent person. I hope you will take every live stream seriously. Never joke about your own life. I can't believe it's my first live stream either. It's actually in a haunted hotel room. At first, I was just a private detective running an adult shop. A few days ago, I was forced into a bizarre world and became a streamer while investigating a missing persons case. Around 8 o'clock in the evening, my phone suddenly, automatically answered a call. A woman's crying voice came from the phone. The crying became louder, and it felt like it was going to come out of the receiver. Help me find a person. He hid me under the floor a few years ago. Inside the walls? And behind the bathtub wall in the bathroom. Found him. The voice abruptly stopped. The phone call was disconnected. All that's left for me is endless speculation. Shortly after, the phone beeped. Live broadcast task, check-in at midnight. An Xian hotel, room 203. Stay alive until sunrise. Seeing the text message prompt on the phone, I was suddenly startled. The location in the task is very familiar to me. Just 3 months ago, a murder case happened in a hotel called an Xian. According to the instructions of the task, I checked into an Xian hotel and started live streaming at 12 o'clock at night. Welcome to the Underworld show. Before we start the live broadcast, I want to emphasize that only 3 types of people can watch this live stream. A person engulfed in dark energy, or Yin Qi. The person will die within 7 days. As for the third type, it refers to people who watch videos without liking or following them. In a few words, a lot of people have entered the live streaming room. The Teletubby was murdered. An utterly confused state. I just clicked on Extreme Temptation of Beautiful Women earlier. Streamer, what are you streaming? I'm watching the bullet comments on my phone. After some thought, I replied with a sentence. Let's call it an investigating supernatural events live stream for now. Trying to uncover whether ghosts really exist in this world. A viewer with the ID name, Officer Huang. Send a barrage streamer. The room you live in seems familiar to me. Seems like I've seen it on the news. Your place wouldn't happen to be an Xian hotel, would it? That's right. This is an Xian hotel. Some viewers may not know what this place is. I was in this building 3 months ago. a bizarre death case occurred. The police have not yet uncovered the truth. They can only attribute the death of the deceased to accidental sudden death. However, a photo of the deceased has been circulating online recently. In the photo, the deceased's pupils are dilated. The upper and lower jaws are open at a 90-degree angle. This is clearly a sign of having seen something extremely terrifying before death. Tonight, I will lead you to reveal the truth behind the incident, witnessing the eerie horror with our lives. What is Teeling Biaoyi? The police cannot figure it out. Who do you think you are? After saying this with a self-righteous attitude, the audience doesn't seem to buy it. Insurance business manager. Ah. Streamer, you belong to a high-risk profession. Our company's latest family insurance package. One policy covers the whole family. Officer Huang from Class 2, Grade 3. An ex-IN. That place in the hotel is indeed eerie. Who knows what you might encounter? Streamer, you have to be careful. I looked at the barrage of comments, all sorts of them. The fear and suppression in my heart eased a lot. I held the camera, bringing along the viewers. I looked around at the environment. Everything seemed so normal. Until I filmed the TV cabinet facing the bed, I noticed something was off. Behind the old TV in front of me, there was actually a mirror on the wall. The screen name was Taoist Lu of Qingqing Mountain. At that time. Send out a barrage, streamer. Having a mirror facing the bed is considered a big taboo. I think this room is not meant for the living. According to someone with basic common sense, everyone knows that it's very taboo to place a mirror at the foot of the bed. First, it is said that mirrors can communicate with spirits. You never know what unclean things might appear when you are sleeping in the middle of the night. Secondly, it is said that if a mirror is placed at the foot of the bed, people who tend to get up at night might be scared when they see their blurry reflection in the mirror, which could easily lead to their soul being frightened away. Once this was said, I was also surprised, but it quickly dissipated. This was because of Taoist Lu's words. The live stream room, which had just calmed down, became lively again. Teeling Biaoyi said that he's talking nonsense day by day. I decorated my room with a wall of mirrors. I am living well now. The Teletubby was murdered, he continued. Shouldn't the white snake spirit, Bai Suzhen, be under the Qingqing Mountain? Taoist Lu. Your master is calling you home for dinner. Taoist Lu of Qingqing Mountain immediately took over. You guys love to believe it or not. In feng shui, mirrors are originally used to ward off evil spirits and repel monsters. It should face the direction where evil energy comes from. It should face a person. That's the evil of mirrors. Equivalent to the mouth. Every day, being drained of yang energy by a bloodthirsty maw. Light cases lead to mental restlessness. Severe cases result in families being ruined and lives lost. Good-looking guys are loved by girls, they say. I suspect the person upstairs is a scammer. A truly dedicated cultivator wouldn't be surfing the internet. Your typing speed is still so fast. Taoist Lu of Qingqing Mountain seems a bit angry. I, your Taoist master, have diligently practiced two fingers in since childhood. Do not accept the challenge. I look at the barrage on the full screen and I am full of dark lines on my face. If I hadn't experienced the interview without lights that night, I wouldn't believe in these things. Clutching the principle of believing that it is better to trust than doubt, I said to Taoist Lu, I know you are in a hurry, but don't rush. Can you help me check if there will be any problems if I stay here overnight? Taoist Lu from Qingqing Mountain said, Listen to my advice. The young friend quickly left. Otherwise, your fortune will definitely be affected in the future. I read Taoist Lu's words. I am also very hesitant. I also want to leave. But when I think of Qixia's end, I decided to wait and see the situation first. Young people nowadays are really something. Money can make people forsake their principles. Never mind. Meeting each other is fate. I am here to guide you. Streamer, you open the window first. I want to take a look at the Earth's energy. According to Taoist Lu's words, I opened the window. I used my phone's flashlight to illuminate outside the window. The grass doesn't grow, the flowers don't bloom, and the trees have strange shapes. It's high on all sides. Low in the middle. The energy field is stagnant. Filthy air has accumulated. There is no way out. Taoist Lu made a sound after a minute or two. The second bullet comment, streamer, quickly closed the window. Look at the four corners of the bed and see if there are any white rice grains or not. Traces of red, white, and yellow paper have been pasted. I pick up the camera and search in every corner of the room. The room is cleaned very thoroughly. Just as I see the corner of the bed, I feel a little uneasy. Inside the legs of the bed, a few grains of white rice are scattered in an inconspicuous position. Damp. It looks like they have been soaked in cold water. Offering food not only honors the ancestors but can also be used to appease the spirits of the deceased. This room has a very ominous layout. I suspect that more than 1 or 2 people have died here before. Streamer, take a quick look under the bed. There must be talismans to ward off evil spirits. Do not approach. If the number of talismans exceeds 4, hurry up and check out to leave. In order to stay alive. I knelt back down on the ground, gripping the edge of the bed with one hand and holding the camera in the other. I stretched my whole head under the bed. The scene in front of my eyes instantly made my scalp tingle. I saw that under the bed, with a length of 2 meters and a width of 1.5 meters, the bed board was densely covered with yellow-based red characters. Seeing this made me dizzy. I propped myself up with my elbow and sat on the ground. Doist, do you think I still have a chance? I estimate that there are over 40 of them. You are on your own, good luck. The talismans all over the house are used to suppress evil spirits. Now the evil energy is overflowing. Obviously, the talisman paper has lost its effectiveness. You have brought trouble upon yourself when you entered this house. Don't say too much, Taoist Lu. I also know that this matter is not that simple. But I have a live streaming task on hand. If I break the contract rashly, I might offend that mysterious organization. In the end, I may disappear without a trace. Since we can't avoid it, we can only face the challenges head-on. Today, I will see what will actually happen. I picked up the camera and aimed it at myself. Dear viewers, I have decided to simulate and recreate the process of the tenant's death. I will act according to his thoughts, striving to trigger the same fatal outcome. Let's witness what exactly can terrify someone to death. I have noticed this murder case before. The deceased was a local man in Jiang City who was unemployed due to his gambling addiction. His bad habit had accumulated a large debt, which made it impossible for him to return home. To avoid his creditors, he fled to the outskirts and rented a room at an Xian hotel for half a month. During this period, nothing unexpected happened. And it just so happened that an incident occurred on this particular day in the middle of the month. What exactly happened on that day? Or rather, what specific action did he take that brought about his own demise? Half a month spent hiding in one place. With the TV broken, there were no entertainment options. Faced with 2 old and terrifying faces every day. And death came in the dead of night. What would a bored young man do to the extreme? At that moment, I suddenly remembered Grandma's instructions when I checked in. Here is different from the city. Don't go out in the middle of the night. If someone knocks on the door after midnight, or if you hear any noise, just pretend you didn't hear it. Absolutely do not go out. Normally, the deceased had also been reminded like this by the old lady during their lifetime. Could it be that they did not follow the agreement, and went out on their own in the middle of the night? Thinking of this, I decided to go out for a walk. I took my phone and went down to the 2nd floor. The old man who helped me check in earlier and the short, chubby old lady were both not there. There was only a woman in her early 20s at the front desk. She was kneeling in the corner with her back to me, worshipping a black and white photo of a little girl who was only 2 or 3 years old. How come I feel that when I checked in, there was no photo of this girl? I tentatively greeted her and said, "Excuse me for disturbing you. Do you know where the landlord is? The TV in my room is broken." The woman kept her back towards me and spoke in a low voice. "The TV was broken to begin with. Broken things can't be fixed, just like people. Once they're broken, they will never repent. You should go back to your room. It's not safe here at night." I looked at the little girl in the photo and asked curiously, "Is this your child?" "She is my younger sister. She went missing when she was very young. I hope the next one to go missing isn't me." I can tell that the woman's tone is somewhat pessimistic. It feels like she has experienced some kind of setback. Out of kindness, I told her I'm here to help with whatever she needs. She clearly felt it after hearing my words. Her body trembled slightly, as if she was afraid of something. I didn't ask any more questions. After wandering around with no results, I returned to room 203 and closed the door. I set the camera aside and began to look around again. Next to the door is a bathroom. When I was investigating the scene earlier, I didn't have a chance to check here because of the barrage of comments from Taoist Lu. I pushed open the bathroom door. As soon as I went in, I immediately noticed something unusual. The decorations outside are still stuck in the 1990s. But the environment in this bathroom has all been renovated. Anomalies are often caused by supernatural forces. It seems like the shop is trying to cover up something. Only this bathroom appears to be the scene of a murder case. Time passes by. Just as I was busy searching for clues, I was interrupted by a very soft knocking on the door. In the dim light, I could only see a vague white figure standing quietly at the door of room 206. She was actually knocking on the room where someone died 3 months ago. The vague white figure looked tall and thin, with long black hair hanging over her shoulders. Whether human or ghost, she just stood at the door without moving. I felt as if time had frozen. I took out a talisman paper that a friend had found for me during the day, holding the charm in one hand and lifting the camera in the other. I slowly twisted the doorknob. After the door lock opened, I slowly pulled the door open a little bit. Come on. Let me see whether you are a human or a ghost. What exactly do you look like? At this moment, I was just about to violently swing open the door. The damn light bulb at the hallway suddenly went out. In front of me was pitch black, only feeling a gust of cold wind blowing into my clothes. I started to feel a little regretful. In the silent darkness, it seems like something is moving. The light bulb flickers. A brief moment of brightness reappears. At that moment, I saw a half-covered black hair. A pale and lifeless face was rapidly approaching me. Oh my God! The door was forcefully pushed open by a strong force. The warning thermos at the doorway instantly toppled over. The scalding hot water spilled onto my leg all at once. The slippery floor combined with the intense pain. Completely unprepared mentally, my center of gravity shifted. The unstable body fell backwards. With one hand holding the camera and the other hand, I reached out and grabbed the blurry white figure. Thud. The body fell heavily. It was only when I regained consciousness that I saw myself holding half of a pure white long skirt in my hand. And when I looked up, 2 enchanting long legs as fair as snow were right against my nose.